This is an All Sports Station production.
Hey everybody, it's the coach. Welcome to the special Saturday edition of the NFL on EA Sports. We are moments away from what should be an excellent matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Houston Texans. With that, let's head over to the space city of Houston. Standing by at NRG Stadium, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, thanks, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. They do it big here in Houston, and a second ago it was a Texas-sized welcome for their hometown guys. They're fired up and ready to go as they get set to match up with the Minnesota Vikings. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Now, Charles, you and I, we've done a lot of games together. Always seems like we're rehashing the same storylines. Turnovers, of course, always a big story. Quarterback play, running backs, yada, yada, yada. But getting ready for this one word kept coming to mind, and that's preparation.
Well, it's critical to be prepared physically, mentally. When you think about getting ready for an NFL game, you have to wonder, what will they throw at us that maybe we haven't seen before? 2-minute drill, maybe different things like that. Got to be prepared. You're exactly right.
And we are underway from NRG Stadium in Houston. This is fielded at the goal line. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. They'll be led out by the veteran quarterback out of Michigan State. The former Spartan, it's Kirk Cousins.
Forget the measurables. His temperament, which is so even-keeled, often masks a burning desire to win and perform. This guy takes it seriously when he lines up to play, and usually he puts on a nice performance.
Now the first carry for Dalvin Cook. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27. Let's take a look here at the offense for Minnesota.
For a lot of people, there are pros and cons to playing close to home in the NFL. But for Adam Thielen, it's nothing but pros. Grew up not too far from the Twin Cities, loves being a Viking, and is a really dependable third down receiver.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line.
Get up! Slam!
Play fake. Cousins. That's complete to the receiver, Thielen. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down. The defensive crew for the Texans. Here's a look.
Deandre McKinney is one of the tallest inside linebackers that you'll see in the game, but he has the bulk to go along with it. And I do think that his height is actually an advantage for him. It used to be that you're worried about tall guys inside because they had to fight off low blocks. But I think his ability to see into the offensive backfield, see what's going on, and read it allows him to diagnose plays quicker and get there in a hurry.
Third play of this opening drive as they're looking at a 3rd and 3. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. That is caught. It's Tajay Sharp. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. The drive stays alive. A third down gain of 8. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Off the play fake, Cousins under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Deandre McKinney muscled his way in for the sack. And they brought the pressure there just right up the gut, didn't they?
Yeah, they certainly did. And, you know, when you've got so many different responsibilities as an offensive line, you got to deal with the nose tackle, the 2 defensive tackles or ends, and then sometimes you just can't account for everyone. The linebacker slipped free.
After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. Cousins. That one into the hands of Thielen, complete. And he gets this to the 35. Good for a gain of 5. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. And looking at Houston defensively, they've got a dime set. 6 DBs on 3rd. From the gun, here's Cousins. Throwing left side, it's complete. And he's going to be taken down with another first down as the stop's made at the Texans' 38-yard line. How about the start throwing the football? 4 for 4 on this opening drive.
Oh, he's slinging it. And oftentimes when you talk about slinging it, you're thinking about a guy throwing it all over the yard, not necessarily accurately. In this case, though, he's honing in on his targets, and he's delivering.
Yeah, the opening script, however, they drew it up for this first drive, going to plan so far. So a 1st and 10 now in Houston territory at the 38. They go play action. Cousins. Looking left side, it's complete. He's got it. And they're going to be set up down around the 15-yard line. That's back-to-back plays of over 20 yards. Cousins going to come up on a 1st and 10. And he's a perfect 5 for 5 here to begin the game. From the red zone now, Cousins. He's got Smith here. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. The completion good for 3, and it's 2nd down.
I know sometimes we can get fooled when we watch him make catches, as we just saw him do there, because he really looks like a wide receiver the way he goes about his business.
Yeah, 230, 240 range.
Yeah, not super huge. Maybe not counted on to be that inline point-of-attack blocker that we used to have in the good old days. But you can flex him out. You can run wide receiver routes with him. You can make him a primary target, and that's how he'll shred a defense.
A gain of 3 last play. This time they double it and pick up 6. And they're getting him involved early.
You feel like they saw something on tape, or they just have a sense with him because he's had a good week of practice or something in that area that they want him involved. Just as you said, they want him to touch it either in the running game or the passing game, but they must like the matchups they're getting.
Meanwhile, on 3rd down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete.
They may be snapping the ball near the goal line, but all you're thinking defensively, keep them out of the end zone. Force the incompletion, force them into going for 3 and not giving up 6.
So Cousins heads to the Vikings sideline, and on is Dan Bailey to try the field goal. From the right hash here, should be an easy one. Bailey's kick is good, and the Vikings have a 3-0 lead. Well, after marching down the field, only getting 3 there, kind of feels like a win for the defense.
And it does. They'll go to the sideline feeling a lot better that they didn't give up a touchdown after the march against them. But if I were the offense, I wouldn't hang my head over that one. That's a good drive, and 3 points were put on the board.
Now, after the field goal, Bailey will kick it away. This is fielded at the goal line. They'll bring it back to just about the 25, call it the 24-yard line. So here come the Texans now for their first drive. Leading them out is their quarterback, the former 12th overall pick. Some refer to him as the natural, Deshaun Watson. Watson will bring up the Texans here, 1st and 10 at their own 24. Back to throw, Watson. And this one grabbed by Darren Fells. A good pickup there, 8 yards on the first down completion.
I do believe we'll see a little bit more of this as this game progresses, because when you can have that type of a gain in the middle of the defense, it hurts them in so many ways, because most teams like to be strong down the middle. And if you can sting them there, that opens things up for you on the outside as well.
But that's where their big tight end, is so good, that middle third, the seam routes, the in routes. Yeah, you're right. Probably see more of that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage and fortitude to go in the middle as well, and he's got it.
The headshots here are the offensive unit, and what about Brandon Cooks?
If he's not a 1,000-yard receiver every year he's healthy in the league, I'll be surprised. Came out of college wanting to be a pro, studied all the best receivers in the NFL before he even got to the league.
An extra defender in the secondary for the Vikings here on 3rd down.
I'm going to run you over. Line him up.
Now Watson. It finds his target, Fuller. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. That's good for a Texan first down, a 12-yard pickup. When you give up points on the opening drive, in this case a field goal, you'd hate to go 3 and out. They avoid that.
They do, and it's also walking that fine line mentally, too, as a coach, isn't it? Because you want to emphasize to your team exactly what you said. All right, we gave up a field goal. Let's go back and at least equal that, guys. But if we don't, you don't want them to feel like it's the end of the world either. Nice that they were able to pick up the first down there, help them relax a little bit.
Strip the ball. Line him up. Strip that ball. Line him up.
They'll fake the handoff. Now Watson. And that'll be knocked away. It's incomplete. Right there on the coverage to knock that ball away was Mike Hughes. Quickly now a look at the defensive starters for Minnesota.
Eric Kendricks is another one of those bloodline guys in the NFL. His brother Michael also plies his trade as a linebacker, and Eric's trying to show him he's the best in the family.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10.
Watch your slack. Watch your slack. Watch your slack.
Throwing again is Watson. And he's got Fuller. Will Fuller. Nobody there to stop him. Touchdown, Houston. Will Fuller. 55 yards. And the Texans have taken the lead. And sometimes those slants, they can be so tough to defend after the catch. It just happens so quickly.
And really, what gets set up there is how quickly everything happens. Ball's out of the hands of the passer in a hurry, and he just takes it and goes.
And he went all the way into the end zone. Kaimi Fairbairn on for the extra point. Oh, they get to the football. It's blocked. Now, the Vikings have got it, but he doesn't get far. They're able to stop him. And after all that, the extra point attempt unsuccessful.
Well, times have definitely changed on the PAT, on the extra point, haven't they? A lot more effort goes into this play from both sides.
Yeah, because let's face it, a lot of time on extra points, the effort is not what it is when you're trying to block a field goal.
No doubt about it. And before, when the ball was snapped on the 2-yard line, it was really a virtual chip shot. Now everyone believes they can get to it and knock it away, and we know how crucial every point is. So the defensive guys, they spent a lot more time trying to get that done, which means there's more pressure on the offensive guys trying to kick it.
Now he's back out there to boom this one away, maybe with some frustration after the PAT miss. Fielded about a yard deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. And a methodical drive last time, but they couldn't get that knockout blow. They had to settle for 3.
But you got to like what they've been doing along the way, right? It's almost like the body blows, the setup punch. As you said, they didn't get the knockout blow here, but that doesn't mean it can't come later in the game on another possession. And the defense on the other side,
maybe a little gassed,
yeah,
right?
A little tired. And if nothing else, they just feel relieved getting upfield, only giving up 3. They don't exactly feel like they've handled the offense. Partner, you know I love to point out when teams break tendency and do something a little bit different from the norm. But when you run the ball in the first play of the drive, that's not a tendency breaker at all. That's just trying to establish yourself as you move forward.
From the 27, Cousins, wide open receiver, complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. That one covers 24 yards. It's a first down. Cousins now already at 100 yards passing in this first quarter. It's 1st and 10. A toss to Cook. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it 2nd down.
In today's NFL, you hear all the time about stretching the field and creating space in order to run plays. A toss play will help accomplish that because now you're pushing a defense to chase you all the way to the edges and to the sideline. That's a nice run, probing now early to try and get things done later.
From the 45 on 2nd down, Cousins, and that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on, 3rd down. And they'll need the 39 here for a first. This is 3rd down.
We got 3. We got 3.
Working out of the gun, Cousins. And this is going to be incomplete. So on 4th down, Britton Colquitt on to punt. DeAndre Carter's deep for the Texans. And this is going to be ruled out, I think, just inside the 20. Yes, it will. Side judge calls it at the 19-yard line. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. Watson will bring up the Texans here, 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line. Now we'll play fake, and it's Watson. Step. Oh, the ball is out. Watson lost it.
Oh, yeah! Set. 19. Right there in the middle. 55. Get your swarm on. And go.
A first carry now. This is Johnson. And there is nowhere for him to cut back as he's taken down in the backfield. Officially, it will go as a 1-yard loss, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. That makes 3rd down a lot more interesting.
It certainly does. How about the example of situational football there and his ability to think the play through? 2nd and short, not anticipating a passing play, sold out and made a great tackle, which brings up 3rd down.
Set. 19. 65. 65. And
Watson on 3rd down. And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up.
You absolutely have to have this early on, right? 3rd and short, they elect to throw for it. And that's normal NFL football. They're going to throw on 3rd and short, but you've got to hit it, don't you?
Yeah, in the first quarter, like you said, to set the tone, can't connect there. On 4th down, here's Brian Anger now to kick this one away. A big boot that time. 57 yards the official distance. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy?
Now left side on the swing pass. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down. So not quite a first down just yet as they come up on 2nd and less than a yard. Now Cousins here on the bootleg. They're able to complete this one to Tyler Conklin. Give him 18 there and give the Vikings a 1st down. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on 1st down. Play action now. Cousins. Open man here is Conklin. It's a loss of a yard there, and it's 2nd down.
We'll put that one in the win column for the defense. Trying to contain tight ends in the passing game is so difficult nowadays, but they did in a big way there.
That pass play wound up for negative yardage, so here's 2nd and 11. Cousins gives way to Cook. And he's able to get more than half of what they needed. That brings up a 3rd and 5.
But you've got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
So 3rd and 5, defensively expecting pass. They've got 6 DBs out there. Cousins now. Setting up the screen for Cook. And he's going to be taken down here still a couple yards short of the 1st. And the screen only good for 3 that time, and it'll bring up a 4th down. So they are going to call on Dan Bailey here. His career long is 56 yards done in Seattle. 6-3 is our score after 1. It's the NFL on EA Sports. And I don't think this has the carry. It does not. It's no good. And this score will stay right where it is.
Everything looked good. Good snap, good hold. Sometimes, though, the ball just doesn't want to go where you want it. And this one winds up no good.
And now out comes Houston. They're out in front. Last time they had to punt it away. We'll see if they can add to their lead now.
They don't want to go out and punt it away again. This team now wants to get a cushion, put people away. They want to run their offense and have it end up in the end zone.
So the missed 56-yarder, and now the flip side. Good starting field position at the 46 near midfield. Looks like he's going to get a couple here on this first down carry, and that'll make it 2nd and 8. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
When the 4-3 defense is functioning really well, you know who stays what we call clean and no one gets to him? The guy playing the middle linebacker position, the guy we call Mike. That means the defensive front is eating up all the blocks and just let him go to the football and make a play.
They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete. Duke Johnson, the one he was looking for. And now it's 3rd down.
I know our vantage point might be a little bit better way up here, but that looked like an ill-advised throw to me. I didn't see anything open, and this play just didn't look right from the beginning.
It did not. I thought he might get outside and just chuck it away. Dangerous pass, incomplete. Throwing on 3rd down, Watson. He's letting this one go for Fuller, and that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
It's always a goal, and it's really nice defensively when you can rally to the football and make sure there's enough contact to force an incompletion.
Force an incompletion and force another punt. Here's Brian Anger now, as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. He'll get off a fairly short kick here as this is toward the sideline.
Good work, boys. Let's go. Let's go.
And now out comes Minnesota. And it's been very much a slow start for them. 3 drives and just the 3 points, CD.
Yeah, if you're into the points per drive ratio, that answer is 1. And that's not going to get it done in a ball game. They've got to find a way to finish these drives in end zones, not having balls go through goalposts.
And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. It's a gain of 11 as the Vikings pick up the first. He's obviously a bit of a shorter running back. Sometimes when he goes up the middle like that, he gets lost in there, and then he pops out for 10, 20 yards.
I actually asked NFL linebackers if that was true. Do you actually lose sight of some of the smaller running backs? And all of them confirmed that that can be a problem. Think of it this way. 2 of the top running backs in NFL history, Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, both 5'10".
Now here's a throw that's taken in by Tajay Sharp. He will go out right near the 35-yard line. It's a gain of 16, and the Vikings have the first down as well.
That's tough to play zone defense when they can just curl up right there in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we talk about finding the soft spot. Defensively, how do you make sure they don't find the soft spot like they did there?
Tough to do, because what they normally will do is run routes that'll pull you out of that spot that they want to get into. That's what we call not taking the cheese, right? Don't go for the mousetrap. But it's hard to do because when you see a guy cutting that in that direction, you tend to go towards him.
On play action, Cousins. That's complete to the receiver, Thielen. And he'll head out of bounds inside the 10. Mark him down at the 9. A good pickup there, 26 yards.
Brandon, so many times we see the crossing route start as a quick hitter, but in this play, he had time in the pocket and waited for him to clear going across.
Two big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal.
That's it, baby. We're going to work.
That false start knocks them back behind the 10 now as they'll try again. 1st and goal. Cook following the penalty.
I'm going to come back to you.
And power running here down to the 6-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 8 and a good first step there with 2nd and goal coming up.
You got it. You got it. You got it.
The 6-yard line, the line of scrimmage on 2nd and goal.
Watch the pass.
Now Cousins. And Thielen's got it. Touchdown, Vikings. It's a 6-yard touchdown pass, and the Vikings are going to retake the lead. And in the red zone, I guess this is why you have a guy like that on your roster.
Without a doubt, and if you have him, you use him because he's a guy who's going to win just about every time. I don't care what the coverage is.
And there's going to be a stoppage here. The booth wants to take another look at this potential touchdown. They had to go to the monitor, get an extra look. That's what the technology is for, and this touchdown will count. Bailey got the extra point, and the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. So that drive spanned 5 plays, and it all culminates in a touchdown for Minnesota. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This fielded at the 2. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. And we move to spotlighting Brandon Cooks. A chance maybe here for them to get him more involved. They're down here on the scoreboard, and he's been very quiet.
And the silence has been deafening for his team. They don't need that at all. They need fireworks. They need explosive plays. They need him touching the football in any way possible. Maybe go to some jet sweeps. Anything to get him going.
Yeah, something to get him the ball. We'll see if they can do it. Trying to turn the corner, but they string him out and stop him at the line of scrimmage. Tried to get the edge there. The defense just too quick to the ball.
That's what we call total team defense there. Can't get to the edge. No place to move it inside, and then allows everyone else to run to the ball and create a big-time tackle for no gain for the offense.
On second down, Johnson. Call it a gain of 4, and it'll leave him with a 3rd down and 6 to go. The Texans on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. A shotgun snap for Watson. He gets it to Cooks. And they're going to mark him down short, maybe by about a yard, if that. Just a 5-yard pickup, and it leads to 4th down.
One of the money routes for any offense, the drag route. So tough to defend because the receiver can stop at any point and make himself available to the quarterback and get a completion. But I love the communication we saw there. All the defenders pointing out the receiver, where he was going, and then they're able to rally to the ball after the catch and stop him short of a 1st down.
Here's Brian Anger now as he's on to punt for Houston. Oh, and what a play on special teams here. This is going to be down inside the 5, all the way down at the 2-yard line.
And he's got to be fired up about that effort. I don't think he could have walked down and placed it any better than where he ended up putting the football. That was excellent.
Kirk Cousins and the Vikings offense back on the field. He's played a pretty clean first half, a touchdown, no interceptions.
Frankly, that's what they expect out of him. They want to see the ball thrown and thrown well, and he's able to do that and put it in the end zone. They'd love to see more of that before this game finishes. But right now, he's got his team in a good spot.
A good spot, maybe looking for touchdown pass number 2 here in the second quarter. Benardrick McKinney there to make the stop.
And while they hope to continue this drive, it's really already mission accomplished. They've given enough space now that if they have to punt the ball, they've done so with that first run.
On second down, Cook. And he will take this up to about the 8-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup. That's going to set up an interesting third and about 4 to go. The Vikings on third down, 2 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 4. Throwing is Cousins. Now they go screen. It's complete. And he'll be taken down for a loss back at the 3. He lost a big chunk, 6 yards there, and it leads to 4th down. Well, you can see what they wanted to do. They wanted to set up the screen there, but it got blown up.
It's hard to run that play if you're not getting a lot of pressure at the quarterback because the space doesn't open up. They were able to read that one and slow it down and stop it before they could get a first down.
Here's Britton Colquitt now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. So a short drop, but he's able to get it out, and this is a good kick. On the return, Carter. Give him 11 yards that time on the return. And the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10. Brandon Cooks and the rest of the offensive crew trotting back into place out there. With them losing here in the second quarter and his limited productivity so far, you'd have to think they're going to try to look to him a little bit more, right?
I would guess you would start to see maybe some quick screens, some hitches, anything to get the ball in his hands quickly and let him try and do some damage after the catch. Or maybe just flip some formations and keep him isolated where it's more of a one-on-one route and get the ball to him.
I say just 4 verts, right?
Hey, why not? 4 verts, one of the best routes in football. Hard to cover each guy all the way along the route.
So far, just 1 catch for him. Faking the give. Now Watson. And that's complete to Cooks. And he is brought down, but not before reaching the 30. 23 yards the pickup there. So 1st and 10 now from the 30.
You can't block me. You can't block me.
Johnson on the counter. And he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him behind the line. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down. Let him go by a little too easily there.
Well, that's what we saw on film, isn't it? His head goes down oftentimes when he goes to punch, when he's trying to block. And when you do that, you can't see your target. He went right past him and made the play.
Line up, go. Look at the egg. Tighten up. Pull it together. Line up, go.
They'll run it with Johnson. That's what they needed. It's an 8-yard gain, and now 3rd and 4 suddenly doesn't look so bad.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot.
And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down.
No doubt that's a very good play defensively right there because you've always got to be aware that he can take off and make a big play with his legs. How about the way they were able to contain him? That also tells me the coverage was excellent downfield.
So on 4th down, Texan kicker Kaimi Fairbairn comes on. From the left hash mark, this a 43-yard attempt. Oh, they get to the football. It's blocked.
Partner, I think they saw something there. I mean, they came from the right side deliberately, and you know there's always a designated guy who goes and blocks it, but it's the rest of his teammates that get him free.
There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. And he's had his chances in this game. He just hasn't been able to find any daylight so far.
Patience, 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 and that's the hard part for a runner because they expect every run to be a big one for something to pop. So they have to sometimes go through the struggles before it happens for them later in the game. But you got to give credit to the rest of the team. They've worked around the fact that he hasn't had his normal big game.
Yeah, despite his struggle, still winning here in the second quarter. It's a gain of 16, and the Vikings have the first down as well.
Well, that play looks familiar because we saw them working on it in practice this week. And for a lineman trying to block on this play, they love when they get the defense moving in one direction. And when they try and change directions, it's a lot easier to pick them up and ward them off.
So one play, and they're already just shy of midfield.
We got to get the ball, D. Get the ball right here. Let's go.
From the gun, it's a give to Cook. And he goes across midfield and down into Houston territory. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. From just shy of midfield, Cousins. And this is Cook with a grab. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. They'll get 5 on the dump-off there, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
It's funny, throughout the time that we've been together when we talk with running backs about the ability to catch the ball, their eyes light up when they talk about open field and having one-on-one matchups, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And that's the reason why. What we just saw, shedding those tackles, and that's what they're used to doing.
It is, and it starts at the beginning of the play, one-on-one matchup if someone's trying to cover them, but they also like those one-on-ones downfield after the catch when they're running with the ball. They think they're going to win those too.
We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have highlights and analysis in his first half of action. Cousins to throw it, and he's got Kyle Rudolph. And he's going to be taken down with another first down as the stop's made at the Texans' 32-yard line.
We didn't need to ask around the league, but we got to confirm this guy's a good player. They've got to find a way to get him more involved, call a few more plays that target him.
Absolutely, because here we are toward the end of the first half, and that's the first target, not just the first catch, first target. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. That is caught. It's Tajay Sharp. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. It's a gain of 11 as the Vikings pick up the first. Cousins now closing in on a 200-yard first half through the air. It's 1st and 10. Here's Cousins. That one into the hands of Thielen, complete. And the ball is knocked out, and the Texans scoop it. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
We have seen this before, and we know coaches preach about this and work on it all the time. Catch the ball. You know there's going to be some traffic somewhere. They've got to put it away and secure it as they try and get downfield.
Set to take over again, Deshaun Watson and this Texans offense. Been a decent start for him here in this first half, but they're losing. And I think as the captain of the offense, you probably always feel like you need to do more in that situation.
The best have always felt that way, and they won't settle for anything less. So right now his goal is to increase what he's doing on the field, try to make sure his teammates come along with him, and he feels like if I do better, everyone will do better. And that's what we're seeing from him right now. Got to have a little extra determination.
Yeah, a little extra determination. He has thrown the touchdown pass. No interceptions for him personally to this point. Watson now 6 of 10 in this first half. He's got his guys a first down here. From the gun, here's Watson. It's complete to Fuller. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down.
Watch the screen! Watch the screen! Watch the screen! Watch the screen!
Out of the gun, Watson. He's going to float this one deep right side. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. Will Fuller was the intended target. That'll bring up second down.
I know the initial focus was on how far that pass was downfield, but how about the coverage on the play? Able to stay with him, get his hands where the receiver's hands were going to try and catch the ball, tips it up in the air, and knocks it away.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Here's Watson, rolling to his right. Now he'll pull it down. Now the Texans will use one of their 2 remaining timeouts as they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this first half.
Set. Take. Watching your
On 1st and 10, Watson. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Shamar Stephen able to drop him for a loss of 4 from his defensive tackle spot. The Texans going to signal for their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with 21 seconds to go here in the first half. Second and 14 as they've got work to do here after the sack.
Check 55 to Mike. Check 55
to throw is Watson. And that is incomplete. 16 seconds now on the clock. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Watson now. From the gun, he'll throw. And that's going to be incomplete. 12 seconds left. Here's Brian Anger now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And you got to think, if this is anything other than just taking a knee, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, they've got enough to talk about at the half. Why do anything else? Just get out of there.
Pretty nice work defensively there on the first down run as they hold him to a gain of a couple. So we've reached halftime here in a 4-point game. As we'll get you over to Orlando, where standing by is Jonathan Coachman. He has our EA Sports halftime report.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. And welcome in, everyone, to an abbreviated version of the EA Sports halftime report. This game's had a little bit of everything thus far, and certainly plenty to look forward to, as the teams are right back out there for the second half. So we'll get right back out there as well, as we'll turn it back over to Brandon Godden.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. Our eyes shift now to the Vikings defense. And let's take you through part of why they've got the lead here. That's the success they've had blocking kicks.
It's been something, hasn't it? And let's face it, if you really break down blocking kicks, to me, it's probably 5% scheme and 95% desire. Because most people, it's not a lot of fun to run into a ball that's been kicked into your chest or your face. But when you do it, and you do it well, it gives your team a big advantage.
He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
It'd be hard to say that a defense wouldn't be ready for a first down run. And when you can gain that kind of yardage against a defense that's really kind of geared to stop that play, your confidence has to rise, and now you've actually opened up your playbook. If you want to throw the ball now for play action, you're good to go.
Here's a throw to his running back. It's complete. And Johnson lost the football. It's loose, poked out, and the Vikings pick up the football. And they are going to bring this one back. It's a fumble return, a scoop and score for the Vikings. We know this defense has some playmakers. We saw it right there. Well, really, we've seen it the whole game.
Isn't it nice to see that on the opposite side of the ball? Respect, my man, respect. The defensive guys are outscoring their opposing offense.
Yeah, they're outscoring him indeed with that score alone. Bailey now for the extra point. It's good, and now it's an 11-point lead, 17-6. So not only the cough up, but then the pickup on the other side, the scoop, and the score the other way, the fumble return for a touchdown. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. This fielded at the 2. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. Heading out is the Texans offense as they get set to take over here. Watson will bring up the Texans here, 1st and 10, just shy of the 30. And they'll start the drive on the ground with Johnson. And able to stay on his feet past the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Anthony Harris on the tackle.
Well, they still have time to get him established, but in my estimation, they've got to pick up the urgency here. They've got to get quickly in and out of the huddle and run off a bunch more plays.
Check 55, Mike. I'm coming, baby. I'm coming, baby. Woo!
To throw on 2nd and 6. Watson, he's got Fuller. And he'll go out near midfield at the 49. 16 yards on that one, and also a Texan first down. Watson now 9 of 16 through the air as he's got it 1st and 10. Off the draw, here's Johnson. And he's got it across the midfield stripe and into Viking territory. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
Break the set. Great team. 54 miles. I'm coming after you. I'm coming.
They stay on the ground. This time it's Johnson. He'll get only a couple down to the 44.
Well, they're hoping that the second half is better for him than the first half. They've got to find a way to get him going. He's a big part of their offense.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. To throw is Watson, operating from the gun. This is Johnson. He's got it. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings 30.
There are a lot of tough routes to try and cover. When you see a runner come out of the backfield and run this angle route, looks like they're going to the flat, and then they put their foot in the ground and cut back sharply inside, not easily covered. And then when they catch it, good momentum built up by them as well.
And able to pick up the first. So first and 10 now from the 30. Now a 10th carry for Johnson. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. A loss of 2 there. Second down. They're having issues right now getting that running game going.
I wonder if maybe adopting some of the college run game would help here. Because we're still at that stage where you have a bunch of guys saying, I don't know about what the colleges do. And the college stuff is working in the NFL. Bigger line splits, create some more natural running lanes, might help the offensive linemen get better angles in their blocking schemes.
Check, check. Watch 54. Watch 54. Hey, watch the screen. Watch the screen. Down, go. Screen. Go.
They go to Johnson again. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a third down. And we've seen this a few times in this game. That offensive line just, I don't know if you want to call it out physical, out tough, whatever you want to use.
And what people do when that is happening, when they're getting dominated that way, they spread things out a little bit, make it more of a space game, and allow your skill position players to make a few plays out in open field. Take away the physical element, gives you a chance.
So first and second down went in the wrong direction. They'll try to do better here on 3rd and 13. Operating from the gun, Watson. And that is incomplete. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. So out comes a field goal team now for the second time here today. He had his lone attempt blocked earlier. And did he have enough? He did. He kept it on line and managed to tuck it into the bottom right corner. And that'll make this an 8-point game. So he missed that field goal earlier, but he says not this time. Able to knock it through, give his guys 3.
I like his poise. I like his confidence, his belief in himself. Sometimes when you miss that first one, you'll see a lot of guys sag and they can't make the next one. Not in this case. Stepped right up like a pro.
Fairbairn now following the made field goal. He'll send this one away. This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. Now the Vikings offense works their way back onto the field. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
We'll see if they do just that. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26. Now third down is looming. A pickup of 2 on first down and just 1 yard there. The Texans here on third down, putting an extra defender in the secondary. From the gun, here's Cousins. And that is incomplete.
Well, plain and simple, that's the second time today that he's dropped a pass.
And that one, I think, maybe even a little easier than the earlier one that he dropped. Surprising.
Was this game announced as a night game prior to, and maybe his rhythm is just off? He's got thrown off. He's going to have to wake up, enjoy the sunshine, and go play.
Here's Britton Colquitt now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. So possession goes over here on the punt. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted, and we can't do that. That's a long field goal that they got 3 points out of. They've got to feel good about that, and they better make sure they love him up because he's helped them out.
Yeah, now we'll see if that offense can put 6 on the board here. We'll see. 15 yards, the Texans pick up the first down. Watson now 5 straight completions here in this second half. 1st and 10. They run the counter. Johnson. And this defense not giving him anything there. Maybe a yard up to the 36.
I have to think a major focus of the halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create space for the running game to get operating.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. They've got to focus on staying on their double teams at the first level, make sure that block's secured before they slide off and try and chip someone at the second level.
Now the pass hauled in by Kenny Stills, and he'll be brought down right at the 45-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
It's just me and you. It's just me and you.
The first down carry here for Johnson. And they're going to stop him right at the line of scrimmage. Just no cutback lane to be found whatsoever. 2nd and 10. That time on the outside, pretty nice job as a cornerback to shed any would-be blockers and make the tackle.
And think about the praise we're giving him, what his coaches are giving, but how about the respect he gets from his teammates to be a complete corner who doesn't just cover receivers, but also tackles ball carriers.
Throwing on 2nd down. Watson looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Fuller. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings' 34-yard line. Watson now perfect since the second half started. 7 of 7. It's 1st and 10.
Let's go. Let's bring it.
Johnson. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Tough day. Tough sledding right there, and it's been that way the entire game. Not a whole lot of room to ramble for him.
Yeah, you're right. It's been that way all afternoon. Didn't get a whole lot better there. On 2nd and 9, Watson. He's got his tight end. It's Fells. That will go as a pickup of 7 on the 7th play of the drive. Trying to keep the drive going here. This is play number 7 on 3rd and 2. And this is going to be incomplete.
Perhaps they overthought this one a little bit. They've been running it real well on this drive, and it was 3rd and short, okay? They decided to throw the football incomplete. Yeah, they might have thought just a little bit too hard about that play selection.
Kaimi Fairbairn now to attempt the Texan field goal. And remember, he had one blocked earlier. The kick by Fairbairn is good, and that'll get the lead down to 5. So this time the protection holds up for him just fine, and he's able to bang it through.
I think their special teams coach got the point across. He gave him a pretty good earful after the block earlier, and this time there's no penetration, so they're able to pick up 3.
Fairbairn now following the made field goal. He'll send this one away. This fielded at the 2. And he'll take this across the 25. Couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. Now the Vikings offense gets set to take over here. They've got the lead. Last time had to punt it, though. What's the key to this drive?
I think it's leverage.
Leverage.
Big guys up front. You know the motivational speech on the sideline is, guys, give us an opportunity. Protect the passer, create space for our runners, and let's go ahead and get these guys. Low man wins. Let's go do it on this drive.
We'll watch that leverage on this drive. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down. He's been quiet today in the passing game, just his 2nd catch.
Yeah, and people have to come up with schemes to limit him. And what a lot of teams do, they'll double him, use a linebacker underneath, a safety over the top. Sometimes they'll just take a corner, maybe their 3rd corner if he's a bigger guy, and put him on a man-to-man to try and limit his touches. Just keep mixing it up, give him different angles, different looks, like a good boxer does.
Call it a loss of 2 on the play. And they're going to face a 3rd down. That battle, that was won right up front.
And we're used to seeing those battles right up front, but we're used to seeing a lot of defensive tackles with more run stuffers and just play the spot where they are. How about these dancing bears we see nowadays that win the battle and then go upfield looking for runners?
And the Texans have an extra defender in the secondary now on 3rd down. Off the play fake, Cousins. Oh, incomplete. Nearly the pick they needed. They would have loved one there, but at least it does get them to 4th down.
Well, he did almost everything right. Excellent coverage, breaks on the football, just unable to haul it in and take it the other way, so he dropped an interception. The key for him now, don't dwell on it. Just move on to the next play.
Here's Britton Colquitt now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. That'll be put in the books as a 53-yard punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. Now a look at Will Fuller as he and the rest of the offense gears up to get ready to go again. Good day for him so far here in the 3rd quarter. He's hit pay dirt once, over 100 yards, but hey, it's the 3rd quarter. He's thinking, I want more, right?
He wants more, and it just increases the confidence of his team because every play he makes, that means his quarterback is really feeling good about throwing the football. Probably feels like he can't throw an incomplete pass when he throws it to him right now.
Yeah, he's looked really, really sharp.
Set. 19. 54. Watch the run. Watch the run. Line him up.
Here's Johnson. He's been busy this afternoon. Absolutely nobody fooled there. He's going nowhere fast as he stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Make it now 3 tackles for a loss in this game, 1 for each quarter.
And for a guy who played defense in college, I can just tell you that he's feeling very satisfied right now by what he's doing. but he's elated because he knows what he's doing is helping his team win the game right now, making some big-time plays, getting into the offense's backfield and spilling everything.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Going deep here for Stills. And he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually that becomes man on man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
Here's Brian Anger now as he's on to punt for Houston. 44 on his first punt, and this is a good kick as well. Fielded at about the 28. An excellent return that time, 26 yards. And the Vikings, they'll be set up well as they take over in great field position, 1st and 10. Play fake, Cousins. Complete, Smith has it. And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. The completion good for 3, and it's 2nd down.
He's a rookie, and you don't want to get hung up on the word potential. But when you see him make catches like that, you keep thinking to yourself, he's good now. He's got a chance to be great with plenty of work.
That 1st down completion only netted him 3. 2nd and 7. They go play action. Cousins. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Bernardrick McKinney picks up his 2nd sack of the afternoon. And there they bring pressure from the inside, and they get home.
Yeah, hard to block everyone, isn't it? And on this play, someone did not get blocked. He's the one who got home.
So now after the sack, Cousins and the Vikings come up here 3rd and long. 3rd and long for Cousins. That's complete to the receiver, Thielen. And he'll get this only to about the 38 as they stop him a few yards shy of the line to gain. It's a pickup of 13, but they're still a bit short, and it'll be 4th down. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This officially a 55-yard attempt. And this won't get there, won't be on line either. It's no good, off to the right, and this score will stay right where it is. Now, this was still going to be a 1-score game either way, but still, that's a potentially harmful miss here in the 4th.
It certainly is, because if you consider that now if they give up a touchdown, they give up the lead. So he might be getting the side-eye by the defenders coming out on the field now as he goes back to the bench after that miss.
And now out comes Houston. They punted last time they had it. What steps, Charles, you think they have to take to make sure they don't do that again?
Well, let's just go to the football 101, the trade expression 101. Win 1st down. Make 5, 6, 7 yards on 1st down and make it a 2nd and 3, 2nd and manageable. Keep accumulating 1st downs that way. Keep moving the football. Don't want to get behind the sticks because then the defense has the advantage.
Big yardage after the catch. That one winds up going for 36. The thing that hurt on that play, the missed tackle, that allowed the extra yardage.
It's a matchup game in the NFL. You get the guy that you want isolated, have him miss a tackle, and off you go.
So a big play as it gets them all the way down to the 20 now for 1st and 10. Now Johnson. He'll get forward for 3 down to the 16-yard line. Now after the play, it looks like there's a Texan here slow to get up. While the training staff works on him, we'll step aside and be right back.
Set. 19. 54. Mike, 54. Man, that's trash.
They'll fake the handoff. Now Watson. To the goal line, but it's incomplete.
Not only did they drop what looked like an interception in the end zone, they blew a golden opportunity to shift the momentum.
In need of a conversion on third down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. Watson off play action. And it's caught. And he'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown. A 16-yard touchdown. And the Texans have once again taken the lead.
As more and more up-tempo football creeps into the NFL game, some coaches don't think time of possession matters anymore. I believe we found one of them.
A big spot now for the Texans as they'll try for two.
Set the tone, defense. Set the tone.
Watson now to throw. Flushed out right. And he's going to be swallowed up and taken down. Sacked back at the 5-yard line.
Well, that decision to me was all about pulling up the chart. You know, that beautiful chart that tells you when to go for two, when to go for one. I do love it. It helps you with your decision-making during heated times. And just look at it right here in this point of the game. Go for two. Try and make it a field goal difference.
But now just up one makes the rest of this fourth quarter a little more interesting.
Yeah, they followed the chart. They just didn't get the 2 points on the board, did they?
Nope. So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And out now come the Vikings. And I hate to point to that missed field goal from their last drive, but you look at the scoreboard, they would be in the lead if they had that 3.
Well, no doubt those points or those missed points do loom large, but here they're getting a chance for a makeup, aren't they? Almost like my time in school. I was always begging my teachers for a makeup exam. Here's their opportunity now to put those points on the board.
And every point becoming more vital here in the second half. 17 yards, first down, Vikings. One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. Working out of the gun, Cousins. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's second down.
I know at times people think we use it too often, but you've got to be able to throw guys open, and when you read zone, you've got to stick it in there before your receiver gets to the next guy in the zone. Otherwise, you bring him into the play.
And that's precisely what allowed that defense to disrupt the pass. Ball on the 42 as they come up 2nd and 10. On the carry, it's Kirk. And this time he's going backwards. So after the no gain on the last attempt, here they get him behind the line.
I think we could easily read his mind there. There's just no place to go. Tried to bounce it and get outside on the draw.
Yeah, but the defense wasn't thinking pass. They knew that they were running it.
And I love the way that they covered all the gaps. You know, we can do all the lettering and the numbering and all those things, but those run fits that we talk about all the time, each person fitting in the proper spot on defense, you see the end result when they do that.
On 3rd down, Cousins setting up the screen for Cook. And he can only manage to get this to the 45-yard line. Well short of the first. 5 yards on the screen, but that'll take us to 4th down.
They dialed up the screen pass on 3rd down, and for a second it looked like it was all going to come together, and they had a chance to pick up a 1st down, but the defense got there and finished it off.
Here's Britton Colquitt now, as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And a little too much mustard on that one. It hits a couple yards into the end zone. A missed opportunity there maybe to pin him back. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back onto the field. Watson will bring up the Texans here 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. They'll try and run down some clock with Johnson. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. That's good for a Texan 1st down, a 12-yard pickup. We often give credit to the O-line there. 2 tight end formation. Those tight ends block pretty well also.
Yeah, and that's one of the most dynamic positions in football now. The tight ends who can block at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack, and they can also get downfield and catch the football.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10.
You got nothing.
A shotgun snap for Watson. Flush to his right. And he's going to keep it here. It won't be a sack, but it's no gain, and it brings up 2nd down.
Well, the defensive guys won't be real happy because there won't be a sack on this play because he did get back to the line of scrimmage. But what a job they did overall. Hemmed him in and gave him nowhere to go with the football.
Set. 3 T. My spot 4. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check.
On 2nd down now. It's Johnson. And he's going to have to protect the football and take his lumps here at this stage of the game as they stop him behind the line.
And this is why the head coach gets paid the big bucks. Look at where they are in this situation, partner. Do you throw the ball here in a long-distance situation? Do you run it again and trust your defense and make sure you take care of the ball and punt it away? What kind of options do you have here, and what do you trust more on your team?
Yeah, they may have just pushed him back into that throwing situation. We'll see. The Texans on 3rd down. They've had a lot of chances, but not much success, converting only 3 times. This is 3rd and 11. He can run for it, and he will. And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. But this will get out of bounds, so possession will stay the same. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line.
Came out in a power set, but that only served to put more men in the box. And guess what? If you're going to do that, you've got to win up front, right? Your offensive guys have got to beat the defenders. They lost all leverage on that play.
Maybe just a slight detour on what's been a strong drive. Here's 2nd and 11. From the gun, a run for Johnson. They'll wind up getting 4 down to the 36. Well, with the fumble he had earlier, we know how key keeping the football is here. That fumble earlier probably at the forefront of his mind. Just hold on to this thing.
It's also at the forefront of the mind of the guys who are trying to get the ball from him. And since they've seen him drop it on the ground before, they're doing everything possible to have him do it again. They need that turnover.
Back to throw, Watson. And the catch made by Johnson. Oh, no, he lost the football. And the Vikings pick up the football. And they are going to set up shop at the 32-yard line.
I know when you're looking at the scoreboard clock, we're getting near the end of this game. But they were in what was really called 4-minute offense. And that's practice, being taking care of the football, taking time off the clock, not giving them a chance to come back. But bottom line is, what did I say in the beginning? Taking care of the football. That didn't happen.
Didn't do it, a costly turnover. And the Vikings now heading onto the field and hoping to do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. Leverage guys. Win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start.
It's caught inside the 25. And he'll be down deep into Houston territory. It's a big one there for the Vikings. 55 yards.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play that picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
A real field flipper there as all of a sudden they've got a first down in the red zone. Cousins to throw it. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's second down. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. Cousins. He'll find Thielen working the middle. And stopped a few yards shy of the goal line at the 3. A first down for Minnesota. Cousins finding Thielen.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
And the question now, how do they want to work the clock here on 1st and goal? A field goal would give them the late lead. They'll run for it with Kirk. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. A 3-yard touchdown run as his guys are able to regain the lead.
Well, we got a little bit of everything on that run. Offensive line creating some space, but how about the guy running behind his pads into the end zone?
What does that mean when a guy says running behind his pad?
Means that he's going to be a physical runner. That way he's able to use his shoulder pads, his forearms, anything to ward off people to power his way forward.
So now here are the Vikings faced with a big 2-point conversion attempt. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. And he's got it. So the 2-point conversion is good, and they add on to their 4th quarter lead. So they elect to pass there on the 2-point try. Sometimes could prove risky. There it worked out.
Yeah, and I love how you bring up that it can prove risky because if you get it intercepted and they return it, that's 2 points for the defense, but not on that play.
Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This one fielded at the 5. And he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. And last time, not only the turnover, but that turned into 6 points. They got to make up for that here.
We always hear about empty possessions, but some are worse than others. You can have an empty possession, punt the ball away, get yourself set to play defense, but when you turn it over, it changes momentum, and when they take it downfield and punch it in on you, that's a bad possession all the way around.
Yeah, but you're hungry to get back out there, aren't you?
You better be, because otherwise, it's going to be a long day for you.
That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. Now Watson. It's complete to Fuller. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. 7 yards there and a first down. And he went in route there from the slot for the completion.
Love how he runs his routes because it's all setting up your defender. Give them a little something one way, take it the other way. Head and shoulder fake. Sometimes you make one step to the outside, then break it inside. Really well-run route.
On first down, Watson underneath for Johnson. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. A fresh set of downs on a gain of 13 there for the Texans. He's having a big game through the air, and sometimes those smart decisions just dump it off. That's how you continue to have big games through the air.
I agree totally. That's a great analogy, a great way to put it, because he doesn't get too greedy where everything has to be pushed downfield, trying to create big plays that aren't there. You dump it off and take that nice gain, and things add up, and now you have the kind of game he's having.
10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
Not only did we just see back-to-back nice gains, but we're also seeing the confidence rise, not just for the guy who caught it, but the guy throwing it as well.
And these back-to-back catches here out of the backfield, that can set something up downfield in a later sequence, right?
A lot of the time, it starts to draw the defense closer to the line of scrimmage. So to your point, show this swing pass, show this check down. Maybe later on you heave one deep when you catch them close to the spot.
A gain of just a yard, but it's a first down. Fourth quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a one-score game. So it's Texans football as we welcome you back. They come up on a 1st and 10, desperately needing a score here on what could be their final drive. Now a desperation throw deep downfield, and that is incomplete. Showed off the arm strength there, but to no avail. Second down. These are the spots, this stage of the game, where it pays to have speed on the perimeter, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and in the second quarter, he may very well run by him, but in this situation, I know as a defender, I'm loosening up a couple of extra steps that allowed him to run with him stride for stride.
Now it's Watson. Open man, the tight end falls. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings 21.
I'm starting to wonder here, are they trying to prevent winning? Because right now, they're laying back and they're picking them apart, moving the ball downfield. I think they got to start bringing a little pressure towards the quarterback.
First down now, but that clock rolling. Watson now to throw. It's complete. Stills. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. A gain of 8 there on the 8th play of the drive. He has been terrific today, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Running flawless 2-minute drill right here. This has been quarterbacking 101 with a flourish.
Watson trying to get his guys moving.
Right there, 54-5.
Watson. He's going to take off with it. Taking matters into his own hands, and he picks up 4 yards and a first down.
Nice solid game there, partner, but the clock is starting to become his enemy.
Absolutely. Every second right now, more and more precious as it ticks. First down now, but the clock continues to move. Now Watson sliding out of the pocket. He'll run it. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this fourth quarter. From the 2 now, 2nd and goal.
I don't even know why this team showed up.
He'll look to throw. And yes, he's into the end zone. So they get the late score they needed. And now the extra point can tie this thing up in the final minute.
And while it appears the heavy lifting was accomplished by scoring the touchdown, they're still down 1. That extra point is not a gimme.
Fairbairn now to add the extra point. And no sweat, he puts it through, and we are tied here in the fourth. So that one a long 11-play drive. And the final act belonged to Deshaun Watson in his touchdown run. So here comes the kickoff now, all even here in this fourth quarter. That's fielded in the end zone. And with time a factor here late, he'll just take a knee, and they'll start things out at the 25. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. They have a little bit of time here to get into field goal range. Not much. A tie game, you don't want to do anything crazy, right?
I agree with you on that one. Risk-reward, okay? If you go for it, what is the absolute reward on this? But the risk is probably greater. Run the clock out, get to overtime, and try and win it there.
All right, we'll see if they do just that. A run there on first down gets 3 up to the 28. A gain of 3, second down. Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. Another tote for the workhorse this afternoon. It's Cook. And give him 6 yards here as he stopped near the 35 at the 34. And here in overtime, if the team that receives the ball scores a touchdown, it's over. If they don't, we can still have some more football.
That's exactly right. If they go down and kick a field goal, the other team gets a possession to either match it or score a touchdown to win the ball game. If both teams kick field goals, the next team to score wins. But if the receiving team throws a pick six or fumbles the ball and it gets picked up by the defense and they score, the game is over at that point.
So we're right back where we started, all even as the kick's away. This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. And the Texans set to come onto the field. They control their own destiny here. They have the football in overtime. Obviously, a touchdown would win it.
And I think teams around the league are still adjusting to the idea of going downfield, scoring a touchdown wins the game, because they were used to just going downfield and trying to get in field goal range to win a game. Still having to make that transition. Let's face it now, the ones who are doing it best know they need to go down, attack, put the ball in the end zone, and not leave it up to a field goal and give the other team a chance.
As we said, they control their own destiny now.
If you're the coaching staff upstairs, you might want to file that play away. Did you see how fast the safety closed on that one? Coming up in run support, made a big-time tackle. Might want to try and check into a pass next time.
Yeah, got him for a loss. Really, really great play defensively. So the first play of the drive lost 4. Now they'll look to move it forward here on 2nd and 14.
We got 4.
First throw in OT for Watson. Screenplay, Johnson. Got some room at the 30. He gets it across the 50 and down to the 48. A very nice pickup of 33 yards. Well, that turned out to be the perfect time to dial the screen. The Red Sea parted.
Did it ever, and you just wonder, did fatigue play a part in this? Because we're in overtime, and all I mean by that is sometimes with fatigue, you slow down mentally. You don't read your keys. You don't see the play develop, and boy, it popped big for him, didn't it?
It did indeed. So the line of scrimmage moves all the way across the 50 now as they come up 1st and 10. Here's Watson. He gets this one to Johnson. And he'll lose yardage here, back at the 47. So a loss of 5, and it'll be 2nd down.
When you lose that kind of yardage on a pass play, you often expect it to be a sack. But that wasn't the case there. They completed the pass. Probably would have been better off just dropping the football and making an incompletion as opposed to catching it and losing that kind of yardage.
So they had the big loss on that first down pass play and facing a 2nd and long. To throw is Watson. He's got his tight end. It's Fells. No gain that time on the completion, and it'll be 3rd down. The defense loves to hang their hat on that, don't they? You get a guy that catches the ball, but you stop him for no gain.
Without a doubt, because they're also used to trying to catch people after the catch, and they miss. And that turns into what? A huge play. We've seen it so many times. In this case, though, catch was made, put down right on the spot.
Now it's Watson. And it's going to be incomplete. He was able to catch it there on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. And it's going to bring up 4th down. Well done by the defense. They did their job here in overtime.
Boy, did they ever, because now it's 4th and really long. So if you do decide to go for it, people think you might be a little bit on the nut side, don't they? But guess what? If I did decide to go for it, I'd call something deep. I'd throw a deep pass and hope that the defense didn't remember to just knock it down. If they intercept it, it's almost like a great punt and helps out your defense with field position.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
And now out comes Minnesota. Their defense did its job, got the stop. All they need is 3, and this is over.
Couldn't have done much else other than score themselves and end it, but they turned it back over to them, and now all they need is a field goal to win the game. Excellent job by the defense. Can the offense finish things off?
Well, part 1 is done, now part 2. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. Now a run with Kirk. A nice job there as he rumbles for 9, and it'll be back to a 3rd and 3. What can Cousins do in the OT? And that's knocked away and incomplete. The former first-round pick, Vernon Hargreaves, the one who was there defensively.
Really good, smart play by the defense, understanding 3rd and short, guarding the first down sticks, and being able to make a play on the football and bat it down.
Here's Britton Colquitt now. On for a very important punt here in overtime. Averaging 50 yards a boot so far as this one's away. Great coverage there. Holds him to a 2-yard return following a 50-yard punt. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. And now out comes Houston. And last time out, they had to punt the football away. Anything positive possibly to take from that?
There always is when you're punting the football away. It doesn't sound like it because you're giving it up, but you've avoided a mistake.
At least you didn't turn it over,
You didn't turn it over, right? You're giving your defense a chance because you're punting the ball away, and they're set to go on the field as opposed to sudden change after a turnover, and wow, now we got to go out there and stop people. So, yeah, there's always something positive to be gained from it. Well, that was man coverage. So once he decides to run with the football, there's no one to account for him, and he turns it into a nice gain.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Here's Watson. Over the middle, it's Fells. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on 1st down. Give him 9 there on the 1st down completion.
Now that's staying ahead of the chains. Really good pickup on 1st down, hitting the tight end there. Now it brings up a 2nd and manageable.
Just found a hole in that zone. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. Watson going to pull back the handoff and keep it himself. And he'll get up near the 45. They'll spot it at the 44. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a 1st down. Charles, you get into these overtime situations, that's not a bad guy to dial into.
Well, when you have to have plays, especially in a spot as you just described, we're in OT, you've got to go to the guys you can trust and you know are going to make the plays. Well, they say, it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmys and the Joes.
And they're well past midfield, just a yard or two shy of the 40. Good coverage downfield led to him taking off, picking up the first down on a 13-yard run.
Containing him is becoming a big problem. We've already seen this once earlier on this drive.
Yeah, and so now 2 times this has happened. Do you adjust something?
Yeah, I think you do. I think you got to start thinking about your rush lanes. Try not to either get too wide or too narrow. Make sure someone is there waiting for him to take off.
From Viking territory now, they'll come up 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. On 1st down, Johnson. And brought down, but able to get it to their 30-yard line. A fresh set of downs on a gain of 13 there for the Texans. They had 3 tight ends in on that set, and they were really good at blocking for their running back.
And give them a lot of credit because in football nowadays, tight ends coming out of college often don't block very often. These guys have really developed into superior blockers, and that's why they use them in this formation so often.
Set, 19, 54. I'm not ready.
Now a 1st down throw, Watson. And this is caught by Fells, right side. A pickup of 11 and a Texans 1st down. So he hooked up with a veteran there, and in overtime, that's not a bad idea. Go with the age and the experience.
Yeah, because sometimes the young guys, they give you the fresh legs and give you all that bounce. But in this type of a situation, sometimes those legs slow down a little bit as the enormity of the moment overwhelms them. The veteran guys, they tend to come through.
Another timeout called by the Vikings now. They'll be down to just 1 remaining as we step aside here in overtime. Right now, you know that the heart is pumping for Kaimi Fairbairn. This to win it in overtime. And he got it. The kick is good in overtime. He's able to split the uprights. And they have regained the lead. So he splits the uprights and has to be a nice feeling. Right when it left his foot, knew it was good.
Yeah, just like a good 3-point shooter in basketball, right? Release the ball, fall back on defense without even looking. You know it's going in the hoop.
Well, we thought this game would be a good one. It did not disappoint into overtime, and it took the field goal to win it.
And we always pay lip service to how important it is to play defense. And usually we focus on the big offensive pyrotechnics, right? But in this case, they got the ball back on defense, gave themselves a chance, and they capitalized on it with a victory.
And I don't care what distance out field goes from in overtime. The knees are always knocking, but he pushed it through.
Not only that, think about your snapper, your holder. A lot of nerves for them, too, because they have to do their job in order to give him one last chance to put a foot to it.
And for Charles Davis and our entire crew here at EA Sports, I'm Brandon Gaudin saying so long, everybody.